Hello again. Just been playing with eBore today, and Alfie's been helping again a lot. And finally we got to the stage now where we can say eBore is breathing. All three axes are set up. One or two of them might be a little bit Heath Robinson in terms of the setup, but I wanted to make sure that I could drive all of the axes the way I wanted to drive them and just set up the mechanics, because it doesn't really matter whether or not the electronics are up to the job at the moment, because all the wiring of that has to be done, and that's another week's work at least. Not the least of which is because I have to get quite a few more parts. I'm using the old, ouch, which has a fan on the top. I just found out. Saw driver. This is the board here with the power supply, the little screen there, which hopefully you can see in a minute. Various bits and pieces are being tested out. This will be blowing a mixture of misted fluid onto the system, and then that will be sucked out by a wet and dry vacuum. So hopefully it won't get too much splashed about. The ball screw, etc., and the sensitive parts underneath here will have to be protected. That's probably going to be some sort of concertina affair with rubber, in order to prevent any bits that fall down into the ball screw getting into the ball nut and the ball bearings and stuff. Okay, so I haven't, as you may have noticed, got my little helper tonight because he's asleep. I was trying to work it so that I could go through the whole of the video 17 to show you what's happening without him. But we'll see where he is because he gets very jealous. Hello. Come. Up you come. What are we doing tonight? Come up. Yeah, we're gonna. Hello. You were sleepy. We're gonna show everybody what's happened today. Yeah, I've got my anti-lick hat on. You can't do the hair. Normally this sort of thing bores him rigid. He bores him rigid, doesn't it? Hey, you gonna be good tonight? Should we put this down over here for a minute and get you comfortable? Yeah. Let's get you comfortable, because I'm going to whiz in things now. He may or may not stay for this presentation because yes, there's whizzy noises. Ready for the whiz? What's this? Okay, so we've got three axes here. The two of the axes are actually fitted to a fixed gantry at the top here, and that's the x-axis and the z-axis, so that goes backwards and forwards and up and down. And you can have two different types of CNC machine. One where the whole of this lot moves backwards and forwards, and another one where it stays where it is and the table moves. So the table being, in this case, the y-axis is moving. The pros of moving tables is that you can stabilise all the dog. I'll try to. You're not comfortable, are you? Get comfortable. I'll put my foot up. There you go. You can stabilise the gantry rigid as hell and put as much weight into it as you want, and it doesn't have to be moved. So, am I boring you? It doesn't have to move, so it can be as rock solid. So therefore, you can, with enough power and enough torque from the motors, you can cut stronger, harder metals, certainly aluminium. I'm pretty sure about that this will do aluminium. I'm hoping it will at least engrave steel with carbide tips, very fine carbide tips and very fine cutting. We should be able to do some basic engraving on steel, things like my plane irons and floats and various other tools that I make in steel. I would very much like to engrave. Are we going to sleep down here? Okay, sit up. Right, so anyway, Alf, what are we going to do? So the system will be controlled by the computer. That's all being built as well. The integration of that will be via a laptop, which is relatively new stuff, and this will drive it. But I'll just drive it manually using the keypad as we've done before. And first of all, we'll just bring out the wire table. This has got no limit switches on, so I've got to be a bit careful here too. It could drive off the end of, like a train off the end of the rail. So we'll just bring it out a little bit. And as you can see, it moves on the linear rail quite smoothly. Take it to the end and bring it back. This is the end of the table, will be directly below the spindle at that point, because the spindle isn't fitted yet, and there's reasons I haven't done that, most of which is because I'm waiting for the parts. So we'll just bring it over midway, again backwards. The clicking noise you hear is just because I haven't fit the motor properly. Now the x-axis, are you comfortable? The x-axis is quite whizzy. This will be changed in the software to slow it down, but at the moment I'm just driving it manually. And back again. Can't quite see where the end stop is, so I'm gonna be a bit careful with that. And we'll bring the imagine the spindles on there, and we can switch the spindle on and off from here, but it's not connected. Yeah. Oh, you want to see it come down? So there it comes down, drops the spindle onto the workpiece. Obviously you've got to set up the homing and zero it to its home point, but you can do quite a lot of whizzy work with this. So they all seem to work fine. So I'm really quite pleased, particularly with the gantry, because, sorry, that was me, because it's taken quite a lot of time to actually get it to run smoothly. I think that's enough for the night. Should we put it all away, Alf? So we'll park it in the home position. But it's gone back to bed, Alf. You want to go back to bed, don't you? And the Z1. All very smooth. Using different technologies on the Z axis here, you see these two rods. They are the shafts, which are round shafts, and they have round bearings. These have square. The Y axis has square rail, square linear rail, and square carriages. So those are the two types that I've been using. As you can see, there's not a lot of difference in some of the. I will probably build another Z axis here, which will contain linear rails. Now that I've got short ones, they have to be fairly short, and I didn't have any, did we? No. So you're going to say good night to everybody? Yes. Well, good night. Okay, so it's getting what, 2 o'clock in the morning. You want to go back to bed? You want to go back to bed? Say goodbye. Say goodbye. You want, Fatty? Say goodbye. Back to bed. Go. On you go. And switch everything off. So the next time you see us will be the new electronics will be done. The bigger motors will be in, so it will be less clunky, and hopefully everything will be working on programming. We can do some minor programming, and then we'll sit down and work out what to do to engrave something, or to at least draw something with a pencil. I think that's the first stop. But I've got to get all the limit switches and the emergency stops and things like that in, because at the moment I'm just relying on my judgment, and that's not awfully good at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, that's the end of video 17. Thanks for watching. Another way, mutt. Yeah. You can go back to bed now. You can go back to bed now. We've finished.